This is my message to Jack Dorsey, and it's also my message to all the people that are attacking him right now. First off, I saw a Huffington Post article this morning saying, Jack, don't die on this hill. And then I read the tweets where, Jack, you're responsible for Alex Jones doxing Sandy Hook families. I never doxed Sandy Hook families. I've been apologizing for years for how things were taken out of context, and it was my apologies and everything that got the media into this whole attack mode to then sit there and poke the families until they sued me. And no mainstream media will ever publish all of my apologies or any of it. It is just wild. And then when Megyn Kelly came to town a year and a half ago, she edited everything I said when I apologized to everybody and then edited it to where I was attacking people. And that's all going to come out. So first off, they're trying to deplatform me everywhere in a huge concerted, admitted purge, like something out of communist China, publicly lying about what I've said and I've done. And now they're doing it to you. If you go read that Huffington Post article with the tweets in it, they're going, listen here, Dorsey, it's your fault now. You're hurting the families. I mean, there's no end to this purge, and I think you understand that. Look, I know I've been shadow banned. I know your moderators have dialed me back. Whatever. What's happening, though, is they've now taken our platform away, Discus, we've had for 5-6 years for comments. They've taken MailChimp away from me. They've taken my name off LinkedIn. I am being unpersoned, like out of 1984. I am literally being disappeared. And look, I've got a big enough listenership and following where it's going to hurt me, but it's going to hurt little people really freaking bad. And you've got Google, who is the big problem in my view, openly working with China for a censorship search engine. It came out in The Intercept last week, and for censorship here. It's already happening. Since the campaign, it's 100 times worse, as you know. And so when all of these big tech companies decided to do this, first giving me strikes for things I didn't say and didn't do, leaving it all nebulous, that I bullied trans people and bullied a kid, none of it was true, and that I was Islamophobic, none of that was true. They didn't show anywhere in the news what I said and what I did. I don't know if you're sincere in defending free speech now. All I know is the mere fact that you're saying that you're standing up for it is a good thing, and you're being attacked. So I'm glad that you've doubled down, at least for now. But here's what we have. We have a high-tech lynch mob involved in really cyber warfare and stalking warfare, trying to have me removed off the web. Right now, they're going to all our server companies and filing fake reports that we're putting out child porn and that we are putting out gambling and dark web crap. There's zero of that. So congratulations, folks. You've crippled InfoWars. You've crippled News Wars, and you're doing all of this, but it's all going to bite you guys in the butt that are doing this. I mean, this is crazy. Congress is paying attention and waking up to all the censorship. You guys have really pushed too far. You're trying to influence the election. You're giving donations in kind to the Democrats by blocking people like myself and others. The Democrats are now calling for Breitbart to be delisted and deplatformed, and for Fox News. You've got the Democrat senator coming out and saying InfoWars is the rotting tip of the iceberg and get rid of all the conservative media. I'm a libertarian. I got arrested twice by George W. Bush protesting him. None of that's true. I'm a libertarian. I'm an anti-war guy. That's why I like Trump. But regardless, the economy's coming back. The country's coming back. A lot of really, really exciting things are happening. And I am just very, 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 very honored to be in a country where we still have some basic freedoms, but we're losing them. They also misrepresent on Colbert last night and everywhere else. They go, oh, well, it's comedy. No, they pose as news that I threatened Mueller literally. No, I said figuratively, politically, high noon with spaghetti Western music on, that he's going to have a political downfall. And like a little kid went, psh, psh. They know that. So they just put out these edited quotes saying that I threatened him, when the last thing I want is physical harm offensively. Everybody knows that. We had thousands of patriots come out in Portland this Saturday and Sunday in Berkeley, and none of them got arrested, and 20 plus Antifa did, and the police are finally done with them because they've been doxing the police. You guys, the liberals, have become the bullies, have become the crazed maniacs who want total political control. And the fact that you're now like a bunch of crazed villagers with torches trying to, not just get Frankenstein, Alex Jones, killed, but now you're trying to get Dr. Frankenstein. I guess now Jack Dorsey is my Frankenstein. It's not true. The truth is the left already has dialed back conservatives in major studies 93%. There are computer programs, and there are computer scientists, and there are computer sites that we've written about at Infowars.com today that detail all this, where they can track how conservatives have been dialed back 50% during the 2016 campaign, and then since then 93%. Paul Watson has been dialed back on YouTube 97% monetarily and over 80% who he can reach. We all know this. We've got the analytics. We can see when they keep, well, this didn't work. This didn't work. People are still popular. This didn't work. This didn't work. And so now all free speech must be gotten rid of so that the, quote, left can control things. This is going to blow up in your face. This has failed. Jack Dorsey knows that. Okay? Now, there's another idea I've got here. I'm not saying this is what Jack's done, Jack, is that I've watched how CNN and pushed for me to not be able to publish a book and celebrated it, and then pushed for me to be taken off YouTube and lied about what I said at Parkland and all this other stuff. Then those strikes were taken down a few months ago because they were fraudulent. There was a Bloomberg article. They weren't real. Bloomberg said that someone inside YouTube took my stuff down and shouldn't have. But then the Democrats in Congress a few weeks ago called for me to be censored, and so they started responding. They did some fake strikes for things I didn't do. Then CNN pushed it, MSNBC pushed it, the New York Times pushed it, got everybody in this big witch hunt, this electronic witch hunt, and then they began to see more and more things go down. For everything from Pinterest to Facebook, you name it, for total deplatforming. And now they're even after my website trying to shut it down. So is Dorsey just training everybody to basically rampage, where he says, no, I won't take Alex off, and then dangles me above the wolves like a piñata so that they get all frothing into a frenzy, and then finally I'm dropped in to the nest, and then that teaches everybody, hey, if you continue to rampage around the internet and file false reports and engage in all this stuff, you will be rewarded with more people brought down, because that could be the Machiavellian dark corridor that Dorsey's going down. And I don't think that's what he's doing. He's a smart guy. And if you continue down the censorship route, it's going to end up in antitrust. It's going to end up in major investigations. It's going to build the entire industry of monitoring online discrimination against people that you don't respect. And remember, understand this. This is all about economics. Once they're done censoring me, the guy they chose to demonize, to build a straw man, to set the precedent for this purge, once they've been able to shut me down, once they've been able to carry this out, they admit I am the first domino, and it's everybody. And that is a scary country to live in. Quite frankly, I work all the time. I never get to, like a ship or something in war, go into dock and get fixed. I'm exhausted. I wouldn't work this hard and fight this hard if I wasn't always being suppressed, always being harassed, always being lied about for 24 years. I would have actually quit doing this probably 10 years ago, but you guys messed with me so bad, I expanded everything. And now I'm going to expand even more. I'm going to launch a whole bunch of new stuff, and everybody's going to see. So I'm not going to be suppressed, and InfoWars reaches more people than ever, and we're going to go through some hard times. The site may go down today. It's just like they did to the Nazis, They take their domains away, kick them off, all that. That's happened to us right now. And, I saw... I don't like the Nazis. I can't stand them, but they're always hating on me, but they have a right to free speech as long as they're not calling for violence. I saw Howard Dean saying Alex Jones promotes Nazism and he needs to be taken off the air. And all these former Obama administration officials telling Jack Dorsey what to do. And then they don't put a link to me supporting Nazism, which I don't. They called for Amazon to take my film Endgame off. It's been on there for years. All over the news saying it promotes Nazism. The damn movie is against Nazis. It's about eugenics and the McCormick-Dickstein committee hearings and how Roosevelt had some issues, but at least they stopped a Nazi takeover in the U.S. And there were frickin' hearings after World War II about it, man. The movie's against Nazis. The left has become a bunch of authoritarian crazies. You see Candace Owens, who's black and a beautiful, great lady, being shouted at in a restaurant, a bunch of white people screaming at her, Nazi scum, Nazi scum. That's just crazy. She was a classical liberal setting up a site for feminists, and the feminists wanted to take control of it, so they acted like white supremacists harassing her, and then they came as allies, white allies, to take her over. It's just you guys are using race as a control arm, and it's sick and it's evil, and you're in a mob mentality, and you're on the wrong side of history. Whatever happens to Alex Jones at the end of the day, to me, this is just a big challenge, and I've made mistakes, and I'm not perfect, and I've had things taken out of context, and I'm more careful now, and I apologize to anybody I've hurt over the years, and I want to do better. But I don't get to go to Congress when they've had 3 hearings on me the last few months and lie about me. I'm never called. I don't get to know who's anonymously reporting us and saying we're serving out child porn. I don't get to find out who's calling me a Nazi. I don't get to know who's doing all this. I just know the newspapers show up 3 times in 3 different court cases, and in the media try to have my kids taken from me, including last Friday. okay? My children taken away. Using headlines saying I abuse children and YouTube kicked me off for child endangerment and then never showing the clip. And the judge was like, what the hell are you talking about? Psh, no. But I'm just saying, man, next level, folks. Next level. And you know, going back like 3 years ago, when I really researched Sandy Hook more and realized that the anomalies all could be described, and I think the mass shooting really happened, I was sick of them hurting the families, bringing my name up, and then saying I'd said things I hadn't said ever to hurt the families. And then all of you left is keep redoing it, using the children, using the blood, using all of that to blame me and the First Amendment now, not just the Second Amendment, and it's just wild. It's wild that I told Megyn Kelly everything I just said here and more. And she didn't put a damn piece of it in that show. I mean, what the hell, man? That's next level discipline. I've had the New York Times and the Washington Post in Austin come up and try to interview me, and a bunch of other papers, and I tell them all that. In the last couple months, none of it hits the paper. I waive, something my lawyers have never seen in Connecticut and in Texas, waive attorney's fees. Even though they're suing me, I waive that under law, if they lose, they have to pay my fees. I waive it. All over the news. I'm suing them. The opposite of the truth. When they sue you, it kicks in. It's like in England, where you sue somebody for libel, you lose, you have to pay. I waived that, which actually incentivized me being sued. And I took the total high road as an olive branch, and it meant nothing. The left went, oh, crap. He waived it in his filing in Connecticut. And under Texas law, I didn't want you to the hearing. Just say he sued him. Wow. You guys are going to lose. You're authoritarians. And I think Jack Dorsey understands that and is trying to be on the right side of history. Maybe. I'm trying to be positive here. Jack, I've already been dialed back on Twitter to nothing. So being taken off of it doesn't do that much to me. But the dominoes that are going to fall for you being bullied into submission on other things, I think you know are unending. And I think it's wrong that Milo got taken off. But, you know, the issue with Milo is he's been taken out of context as well. But he's got his website, he's got his stuff, he's got his speaking tour. They are literally trying to shut everything down with me right now. So that, here's my final point, I can't speak for myself while they create the straw man, this Alex Jones that they say says nobody died at Parkland. I never even said anything like that. Or that says they were all crisis actors. Or the whole other stuff. They want to be able to lie about me and lie about what I've said and done in a vacuum where I can't even respond. So it is good to not just have Infowars.com and Newswars.com they're trying to shut down right now, so that I can go somewhere out in the world and actually say, hey, I didn't say that. Here's what I really said. 35,000 videos we put up over 12 years on Infowars.com from YouTube, all blown away. All my statements about Sandy Hook, what I really said, my grandmother that's dead now, my French bulldog that's gone, my little kids, shots of my kids walking around their little kids, that's all gone, all blown away because the thought police secretly reported me, all these SJWs that went and got their worthless college degrees and now are all pissed and have been told by the system, take over America and you'll have a position. And now they're just this crazed Maoist brigade. That's their ideology. And they just anonymously report me. I can't face my accusers, and then all my stuff gets destroyed. That's going to make people not put things on the platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Everybody's already leaving it in mass. And this whole attempt to win the midterms and purge things is what's driving down all the stock. And I think you know that. Infowars.com, Newswars.com. This is what I really had to say. This is what I really stand for. And this is the First Amendment, my right to respond to the coordinated attacks that are taking place. But again, if you don't stand up for free speech, you will be next, just like Jack Dorsey, who they are now announcing and now saying doxed the families with no link and none of it's true. Infowars.com, Newswars.com. We'll be on the radio 11 a.m. today, Central, Infowars.com/show. Our app's gone to number 2 overall news apps in just 3 weeks. We only launched it 3 weeks ago, Infowars Official. They're trying to have that taken down now. CNN's lobbying for that. Total racketeering, just classical. Tortious interference. We've got our own podcast at Infowars.com/show. Go there and click on that. Subscribe to myself, David Nutter, Owen Schroyer, so you can actually get it on your own platform, because I've been deplatformed off all those. I had over 10 million people subscribe to me on iTunes. They would not list me as one of the top podcasts. They already had me delisted in the listings, but still it was there. It was still searchable. So they just took me out of the phone book. They disappeared me. like I've been airbrushed out of, those old Soviet photos with Stalin, and as he killed each person, he had them airbrushed out. I mean, if this isn't 1984, baby, I don't know what is. So again, lie about me, demonize me, build the straw man. Then start shutting the straw man down to set the pressure to shut everybody else down. And while all the other conservatives and people go, well, Alex Jones, the straw man they've built about him is pretty negative, I'm not going to defend him. While that happens, all the speech is burned down, the precedent's set right ahead of the midterms. We knew this was coming, it's here, and it's dangerous, but the good news is a lot of academics, a lot of people are starting to see what this is. So please, everybody, understand this is your free speech, this is your country. Just because the universities told you you were the elect, you were the elite, F free speech when you're fighting Nazis, so you scream at Candace Owens and call her a Nazi. I had 4 camera guys at those rallies in San Francisco and in Portland, and we had the most minorities at our rallies. A good 30%, 40%, and it scared the living hell out of the left. A bunch of sickly-looking white meth head types who act like the old Nazis. They were just kind of scum and, what do you call them, KKK, just kind of trashy people who wanted to feel like they were in the good group fighting the bad group. The Nazis thought they were good, so did the KKK. And what do I get? Stephen Colbert going, I'm Tuck Buckford last night, like Alex Jones, KKK, and pouring milk on his head. I mean, what the hell, man? Everybody knows that I've always been against the Nazis. So this is crazy. This is crazy. Infowars.com, newswars.com. That's my message to Jack Dorsey. I hope he's on the right side of history. It looks like he may be trying to be. All the rest of you haters, Jesus, man. I hope it feels good because you guys are really becoming authoritarian and it's really, really sad. But I know you get promoted on all these platforms. In the algorithm, you don't get dialed back. You get 100% reach when you're like this. So it's trained you with dopamine, just like the former head of Facebook said, to be minions of this thing. But it's going nowhere. All right, that's it. I'll be live 11 a.m. David Knight's live right now. Infowars.com/show. The battle for America and the First Amendment. All of it is happening right now.